How's it going, everyone? David from Comic Book Investments. Well, it's that time of the week. It's over, so let's look at what I got throughout the week. Just get right into it. Had this book before, Marvel Previews 95. I actually have 3 of them now. Like I've said previously about this book, this is the first appearance per se of Miles Morales. This Ultimate Spider-Man was Ultimate Fallout number 4. But he did appear in this, which is basically a magazine that they gave out to comic book shops that previewed what was upcoming in, the days to come, weeks to come, months to come. So this technically is like his first appearance, but not in like a comic book. And the thing with these is a lot of comic book shops just threw them away. They didn't get that many because it's not like, hey, this new book is coming out, let me order 5,000 of them or 100 of them or something like that. They get like 1 or 2 or something like that, and you could sell it if you want. That's what it said. It says free here, or you can sell it for $125. That's what they suggested. But so there's not that many of them. That's what makes them so rare. Like a 9.8 goes for like 10 grand. It's crazy. So this one here is probably like a 9.4, and now I have 3 of them. I have 2 on the way to CGC. Here we go. Malibu Sun, number 13. This, just like the Marvel previews, is basically the same thing. It's showcasing what is upcoming in just the comic book realm. And this one was showcasing Spawn before Spawn number 1. It has the same kind of art cover as it is the same art cover as Spawn number 1. So technically this appearance of Spawn before. Now the interesting thing about this, not this one in particular, but if you look on the back cover, you can see it's like blue and whatnot. There's actually an error variant where it's all green, and that was just a printing error. And I've had a few in the past, but they're much more rare than this. So yeah. Now speaking of Spawn, we got this. So this is Spawn kills everyone at the office. Now a lot of times what publishers will do, because it's a win-win for both the employees and the publisher, is instead of giving out Christmas bonuses or just bonuses in general for whatever reason, they will give out variant covers of comics that they're doing. And they do this for 2 reasons. Number one, it's cheaper because all they have to do is have, so this from Todd McFarlane, he just draws up a cover real quick. They do a print run of 10, 20, 50, however many they're giving to their employees. And they give them out to employees. Their employees can then turn around and sell them for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And so now Image, the company, is really just out the time of drawing and printing it, because the printing process, they probably have like an in-house type thing, and it's all like digital printing these days anyways. So it probably costs them next to nothing to print these out. And so they also save on giving out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in bonuses, and they just give them a comic and then they can turn around and sell it. So I've had actually 3 of these before. This was given out, I want to say either like a Christmas party or something like that, and it's signed by Todd McFarlane, and it says "You're next." And he writes in the name Andy, and I'm pretty sure there's probably like under 50 of these ever made. So anytime there's like a low print run of something, and especially signed by Todd McFarlane and all that kind of stuff, it's good to have. So these can be quite expensive. All right, this next one I'm going to talk about more in depth in market analysis later this week. But before I show you, could you do me a favor and either subscribe, like this video, or share this video, or whatever? That would help me out. Thanks. All right. So this one you've seen like 1,000 times. I have one almost every single week. I get so many of these. Star Wars number 42, First Mandalorian. And you're like, okay, what's so special about this one? I've seen it multiple times. Well, not only is it a big key for Star Wars, but something interesting about this. You look at it, it seems pretty normal. Wait a minute. if we open it up, you'll see there's another cover. This is what we call a double cover. And it also has a double back cover too, as well. It's hard to reverse show. All right, let's see if I can do this. There we go. Reverse double cover on the back. All right, so I'm going to go into more in depth on market analysis of like how this kind of stuff happens, what it's worth, and all that kind of stuff. Also, another cool thing, this is a newsprint edition, or I mean a newsstand edition. So check out the video. It'll come later this week, more in depth on that, but it's kind of cool. They're pretty rare. All right, next we got primer number 2. And what's interesting is, as a kid, for some reason, I always liked this book. I don't know why. I just like, it's the first appearance of Grendel. It's a independent comic, which is cool. And I remember getting one of these, like when I was a kid, like when eBay was kind of new, I would like save up money and just buy random books that I thought was cool. I got like a Raphael #1. I had a bunch of X-Men 266 because I love Gambit, and a bunch of Spider-Man 300s. And I used to spend like $40 or so getting these Spider-Man 300s, and like $20 getting X-Men 266. For some reason, back then I was like, oh, these are going to be worth a ton later, which they were. But this took a long time because this was probably in like late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there when I was buying these. But I had one of these. I had to sell all my comics to start the business. But yeah, I like getting these independent comics for a number of reasons. Number one, I always talk about low print run. They didn't make that many of them, let alone these are probably sold at like Comic Cons, and like they probably went into comic shops and like, hey, can you supply my book? And they're like, sure. So it wasn't like nationwide, every comic shop. So they had low print runs, and probably a lot of these people just, trashed them. So that makes them more rare. So anytime I can get like a low print run book, it's good. And it's independent comic. These comics are really picking up steam now. Number of reasons is, one of the biggest reasons is like Netflix and Hulu and all those kind of stuff. They don't own like Marvel and Image and DC properties. Those go to Warner Brothers and Disney. So there's no way they can get the big guys. So they have to go, if they want to make a series, they have to go to some underground comic if they want to make a comic show. So they end up going to something like this. So that's what you'll see, like random books that like you never even really heard of before. All of a sudden, like, oh, we're going to make a series about it, because they have nowhere else to go. They can't go and get, oh, let me take Iron Man. Well, Disney owns that, So yeah. So that's why these kind of books go up. Here's Wolverine Origins 10, the variant edition. I've actually never had one of these. I've seen them all the time. I tend to stay away a bit from variants, but this was like a really high grade. And new variants I tend to stay away from, to see the dust settle, to see, like, I made a video about it before, but like when like Batman the Damned came out, and other just new books come out, you really don't know how many variants there are unless they specifically say we only did a print run of X. That's why I get those like Last Ronin's like metal covers, because I only know they have 101, and or other ones where they're like, oh, we only did a print run of 300 or whatever. But like variants like this where it's like, oh, 1 of 10 or 1 of 25 or 1 of 100, that means that every 25, 50 or 100 books that the comic shop orders, they get one variant of this, and that's how they can make more money. But it's like, how many did they make? I don't know. So that's why I kind of like to wait the dust settle to see how many there is actually, But yeah, so it's kind of a cool book. We got a Spider-Man 6. First appearance of the Lizard. This was when I was younger, I used to work for my dad, and I'd save money, and instead of getting cash, I would just get comics. And this was like my first big purchase as a kid. I got Spider-Man 6. So I always loved the Lizard. I used to have his action figures and all that kind of stuff. So it's always kind of cool to get this book again, because it kind of like reminds me of, oh yeah, I think my copy back then was like a 3.0 or something like that. This is probably around a 5.0. But yeah, old Spider-Man is always good. Now, last week, I showed a Spider-Man #1. This is the gold edition, the gold UPC edition. I showed the platinum edition. And another, like the Spider-Man #1, I think they made like in the millions of like copies. And then they had the normal one, then they had the silver edition, then they had a gold edition, but it didn't have this. This was only sold in Walmarts. And if I can remember correctly, I think it only had a print run of like 1,000, or no, not 1,000, like 10,000 copies of this gold edition. So you can only get this in like a Walmart that sold it. There's the normal gold edition, and this has Spidey's logo on it. There's probably the print runs of like hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. But this gold edition was a lot more rare, and so they're a lot harder to come by. Just like the platinum edition was a lot more rare and harder to come by. So this is cool. I picked up a 9.8 of it. This is kind of like it's a little different. It's not like so much a comic book, but it's an art book of MOEBIUS. Now, I like his art, and I like this book. This is like a high grade, so I'll probably send this to get graded, but I'll probably pick up a like a more rough cut copy, because I like artists, like comic artists, and I like the like unique styles and stuff like that. So this I love. I love his art style, and it's just very interesting to me. So I'll probably pick one up just so I have to read. Actually, one of my favorite artists, if you couldn't guess, now I'm gonna say Jacques is how you say it, because I know he's like foreign, but maybe it's Jock. But yeah, and if you can't tell, he did this for Detective 880. But yeah, I love his art. I like the weird stuff that's not like traditional, like you see. Like obviously those people are great, and like you got like Neil Adams, and Jack Kirby has a little bit of weird style. Jim Lee is probably like the best artist for like just straight up just looking at it. Well, at least I think. But I like the weird stuff, the stuff like the Skin Savages, the Jacques, and even Moebius. Like this is like there's weird, like they're not like traditional. Like this has very good colors, and that's why I like, kind of like reminds me of L.B. Cole from like the 40s and 50s and stuff. Like he had very weird colors. Like it's just like super bright colors that you think wouldn't mix, but somehow they do mix, and it makes it look cool. So I like that kind of stuff. I don't know, who's some of your favorite artists? But yeah, so I picked that up. These are going to be kind of more rapid fire. I'll just briefly talk about Fantasy 494. The reason why I'm bringing up this, which I have all the time, is I think it's time to sell. So if you have a copy of this, I think it's time to sell. It's time. I have a bunch, and unfortunately, since CGC is taking so long, I think I'm going to end up losing money, because I think it's going to be coming back down. The show is over. I don't think they're going to do anything with Agatha in the future. She might show up in Doctor Strange 2. I don't know. But in any case, I think the hype is kind of going to bring it back down to earth. So if you have copies, I would suggest unloading them. Unfortunately, a lot of mine are stuck at CGC, so I'll get them in who knows how long, months or something like that. Another example of the same thing I'm just talking about, West Coast Avengers. First White Vision. Again, I have a bunch of copies stuck at CGC. So I think this has a little more legs than the Fantastic Four 94, because he appeared towards the end, and also he is now the only Vision. Sorry, spoilers alert. He's now the only Vision. The other Vision is gone. So if Vision does show up, it'll probably be the White Vision. So that could keep this book afloat a little longer. But until we see what happens with the Vision, like who knows when he will appear next. Yeah. So Raphael #1. I get these all the time. The reason why I'm just showcasing this is I'm going to, I've been showing you guys a lot of these Turtles things. So I'll be showing an unboxing kind of per se of what I've been getting in Turtles wise from CGC. Not like I'm not going to open the box and like show you. I've already cataloged them and stuff like that, but I'm going to run through a bunch. So that's why I'm just talking about this in a video to come. And then we got Captain America 323. This is the first appearance of the U.S. agent, which is going to appear in the new Winter Soldier or Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show. So this book's going to be climbing in value. And basically, with Captain America gone, the government needs a new Captain America, so they kind of make a new Captain America, and it's called the U.S. Agent. So yeah, that's it for this week. Like I said, I get a ton of stuff in. I'm just showcasing like a few of the things that I get in. I got another complete collection of Star Wars 1 through 107, but I already talked about that stuff, so kind of pointless to talk about again. If you like this kind of stuff, comment below on something that you maybe want to see more of, a more in-depth view that I do in my market analysis. Also comment below like who your favorite artist is. Like Jacques is probably, it's hard to say. I love Jacques. He's probably my favorite. I like Bernie Wrightson a lot. I like that old horror stuff. Like Swamp Thing 1 is one of my favorite covers of all time. I like LB Cole a lot. Yeah, there's a bunch of like the weird stuff like Bill Sienkiewicz. I don't even know how to say his name. It's really, he did all like the New Mutants and Elektra and like that kind of stuff. Like this looks weird. It's like it's not like a perfectly drawn arm. It's not proportionate, and that's the kind of stuff I like. Just like weird like swashes of like color, and he did a bunch of the Dazzler work that I look at. There's a cover of, I think it's Dazzler 24, where it's like a painting, and she's on like little rollerblades, and it's like in the 80s, which is cool. So it's all those like bright, cool colors, and it says like San Diego on it, and so I guess she's like in San Diego or something. And yeah, I was like, man, I want that cover because I live in San Diego. So yeah, tell me about some of your favorite artists, who they are. Just comment below what you like. Yeah, and thanks.